What's good, y'all? We got a visitor, actually. Hey, come over here. Get in the frame for once. Hey, buddy. How you doing? He got all up in the camera. You did a good job, buddy. Okay. So, you know what time it is? It is the Spider-Man 3 review. Just gotta write it down, obviously. Because I never write it down before the... I accidentally threw my pen through the... Yo, get out of frame! Yo, he's not even affected by my little scream right there. Mostly because I've screamed at him before, from biting me. I don't like to get bit. He doesn't care. Spider-Man. Three. That is a wonky 3 at the end. You know. Now, I actually wanted to take a quick look at my other stuff. Now, Spider-Man 3, I give it a 7.1 out of 10. Now, Spider-Man 3 is kind of a controversial movie to a lot of Raimi fans, and I... Stop, buddy. And it's kind of a guilty pleasure of mine. I'm not going to even lie. Spider-Man 3. When I made this review, I was actually trying to make it while I was sick, and I had written down notes, and you know, a lot of it was kind of biased at the time, and I think mostly because I watched it 3 different times while I was sick. You would think I would have gotten sick of it while I was sick, but no. Still kind of a favorite of mine. I think I cut myself somehow on my eyebrow. I ran into the wall, but it feels like it's bleeding, but then it's not. What's up with that? Okay. So, let's jump into the problem. It had the same problem it did with Spider-Man 2. Not Spider-Man 2, this one. I'm talking about TASM 2, The Amazing Spider-Man 2. It had too many villains. Now, don't get me wrong. In a sense, having too many villains isn't always a bad thing. But in this movie, it felt very cramped. Don't get me wrong, I'm excited for the Sinister Six, and they're supposed to happen with Tom Holland's Spider-Man, which I'm very excited for. But in this, you had Sandman, Hobgoblin, Venom. You had a revenge plot point with Harry and Peter, and then you had the retelling of Uncle Ben's death in the third one, and then you had the petty revenge that Eddie wanted. Then you had the very bad Venom. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't hate is what I meant to say. I actually do like the actor that plays him from That 70s Show. I really liked him as Eric. But yeah, there were obvious problems within the movie. They couldn't balance out the 3 villains and their plot points of why they became who they were and their convictions very good, nor could they really portray Spidey's own story in this film very good either. He got really close to MJ, and it seemed like he was going to marry her. Then Green Goblin was like, I'm going to break Spider-Man, which in that in itself should have just been its own movie, and he shouldn't have gotten amnesia, in my personal opinion, Harry. But as you know, everything went the route it did. And so she broke up with him, saying there was another guy. And then there was like the love triangle with Gwen Stacy, Mary Jane, and Peter. Like it was very convoluted, this movie was at times. There was just like too much they tried to cram into one movie. Honestly, I think the maximum villain, if in this movie, they should have gone with maybe just Sandman and Hobgoblin. I honestly feel like Hobgoblin should have been his own movie too, but Sandman, Hobgoblin, and Venom just kind of oversaturated the movie, in my opinion. Now, off with the bad, let's go on with the good. The action scenes were actually pretty cool. Again, spoiler warning, this Spider-Man 3 came out in like, what, 2005, 6? It was a while ago, over a decade. When Harry died, I had mixed feelings about it. I did like it that they tried to make it where he died like his dad, but different. He tried to save Peter, and I had the hiccups right there. What the heck? He had the hiccups. Oh, my Marvel shirt got me Daredevil. Spidey's right here. That's why I was holding it up like that, specifically. Right there. I can't really tell who that is. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be, Hawkeye when you want. Ronan is his name. I forgot her name. But there's Cap. Why am I pointing out my shirt out of nowhere? Okay. Yeah, so as I was saying, I did have mixed feelings with his death because they did try to replicate his father's death, but different, having him be a hero. I did like the final interaction before he passed with him and Peter being like, I forgive you. I did like that. I did like when Venom died, sort of. I don't even really like to call him Venom. I like to say the Wendigo that had a symbiote on him. He's not really Venom. He's not Carnage. So, the Sandman storyline, aside from, the whole, the whole I killed Uncle Ben on accident. I mean, I was the one that really killed him, not the guy in the first movie that you accidentally kind of but didn't really kill. He accidentally killed himself by walking out the window. Nah, he didn't do it. It was me. And then Spider-Man, he got the symbiote. I'm not even going to call it Venom. He got the symbiote and started beating up Sandman. And Sandman's just trying to get money for his daughter. I liked Sandman's storyline except for anything that basically revolved around Uncle Ben. I think they shouldn't have changed the origin story right there. But, so, while the CGI was kind of dated with Sandman when he was the big blob, basically, the fight was pretty awesome, seeing, Harry on his surfboard and his Power Ranger suit. I mean, to be fair, Green Goblin 1 was in a Power Ranger suit also, but he's like a surfer Power Ranger. More like snowboarder. But, yeah. Besides that, it was fun seeing him team up with Spider-Man and them fighting off both, Symbiote and Sandman. As I said, he's not Venom. But yeah, this feels weird because we're ending a trilogy. I don't really feel this with the trilogy because, let's be honest, TASM 1 and 2 weren't that great. While I do love them and they have a special place in my heart, it feels weird putting this down, and it's not like I'm going to stop watching it. It's one of my favorite film series, but this is, in a sense, the end on the review. So it's very kind of surreal. I spent pretty much a week altogether making the Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3 reviews. So it's actually pretty crazy. And, they're always going to have a special place in my heart. Tobey Maguire, Sam Raimi, for this film series. And I think I should really stress this out because I've seen people bust other people's balls because they're like, Tom Holland or Andrew Garfield Spider-Man were trash, yada, 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 Iron Boy Jr. I've heard it all. And, I'll get into those subjects when I review MCU Spider-Man, Tom Holland. I'll do that. But I feel like a lot of the times are kind of unfair to them. And I don't know. I should have just done this. I would have looked like dang Tobey Maguire, and when you had the symbiote, I would just have to get my hair to be very, very black, and then it would have been perfect. But I mean, I would say if I had any complaint, I couldn't really think of anything because this Spider-Man really felt right at the time. He didn't really do any quips in this movie, and I think that's kind of good because he was supposed to be in his all-time low. I think everyone agrees that was in Spider-Man 2, not Spider-Man 3. But his life was kind of falling apart in this movie. Also, I mean, let's be honest, in all three trilogies, his life is falling apart. But in this one specifically, they really tried to make it worse, I guess. They didn't really succeed, though. I also had the extended cut for Spider-Man, so it was a bit different, but Well, I'm kind of rambling at this point. I can't really think of anything else really to touch, and it feels weird to just end it right here, but this is the end of the Sam Raimi trilogy. I'll see you all next time. Bye.